Welcome to the Customer Machine Podcast, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston and Yoav and I. Glenn is a psychologist and marketer whose companies have sold more than $30 million in consulting and has trained thousands of marketers across different niches and industries. Yoav is a programmer turned marketer whose companies have sold over $5 million in products and services. Together, they'll teach you how to systematically stand out, attract, and convert the best customers, even in brutally competitive markets. And now, here's Glenn and Yoav.
Well, hey, this is the very good Dr. Glenn Livingston, and I'm here with the machine, Yoav and I. How are you?
I'm great. I have my coffee. I'm ready.
Okay. And we have a very kind man named Don Georgievich, who runs a site called Job Interview Tools, and he has agreed to be our victim for today. Don, can you give us a little bit of background about the site and how it's been doing, and what particular questions you have, and we'll go through the site together.
Sure. I've been running Job Interview Tools probably for about 8 years now. The sales page is relatively similar to what it was 8 years ago, and what it is, it's designed to sell an ebook to job seekers who are struggling with answering interview questions. They have a lot of nervous jitters about interviewing, and so this page and this site are designed to show you how you can overcome your nerves, calm down in the interview, and learn how to answer some very key interview questions that you're likely to face in any job interview.
And I could have used you 30 years ago. This is great.
a lot of people really like it. It's done very well. It started off as just a simple ebook, and I've grown that into a hard copy book, so you can buy the actual physical book, and I've converted it into a video and audio program as well. So whichever you like, if you like PDF ebooks, I've got that. If you want to hear me in audio or watch me in video, you can subscribe to that level as well, or if you want the physical book.
Got it. Very nice layout of the chart to explain those options. And for those of you who are watching and are selling just one thing and it's selling okay, you've got some traction, if you add another 2 options, you will probably make more money, because there are always people that want the better version. And the way that George has laid it out here, where it's clear that there are additional benefits for each of the versions, is a really great way to do it. So, okay, cool. And another thing I might mention here is that as you're designing your site, a lot of people design the offer last, but that's kind of like deciding to get in the car and take a trip but not really having a destination. So it's a nice idea to think about what offer you want to put together, where do you want to end up before you start designing the site and writing your persuasive architecture. So, okay, great. And what's your background?
My background is actually in IT. I've been in IT for about 20 years, and I had a lot of contracting jobs, so I never worked more than a year or two at any place, so I had a lot of practice with interviewing for jobs. And I also was at the level where I was interviewing other people for IT projects. So after 20 years of doing that, I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. And I'm like, what else can I do? What am I good at? And I'm like, hey, I'm good at interviewing. So I did some research and found out there's a lot of people who are struggling with job interviews. So I wrote a book. 7 or 8 years ago, and it did very well. The first day I launched it, it did very well, and it seemed like I had a lot of value to offer people. So I kept doing it.
You seem like a very calm and confident conversationalist, so I can understand why that would be. Don, when you said it did very well, where does the traffic come from? Could you maybe quantify how well that did?
Lots of places.
Where's it coming from now? Okay, go ahead.
Initially, all of my traffic came from the Google Display Network. And I was one of the very first people, back in 2006 or 7 to make that work. And so still probably a third of my traffic is coming from Google Display Network and Google AdWords. Then the rest is going to be organic traffic that I get from my blog. I have a blog that probably has about 100 pages on it. So we get a lot of organic traffic there. I also, forget this, I have about 100 videos on YouTube. And it's a pretty popular channel. I've got about 11 million views total.
Wow.
So I get a lot of traffic from YouTube. And this is probably one of my highest conversion points. A lot of people, they look, there's a lot of do-it-yourselfers. They just want the free stuff. So they go to YouTube and they see some of my videos. They like me because I'm actually there in person in my videos. It's not just, me talking over a PowerPoint or something. It's actually me talking. So people fall in love with me there. Maybe that's a stretch, but they like me there. So they're like, hey, I'm going to go buy his stuff. And I know this because they tell me that. They're like, I saw you on YouTube, so I went and bought your book. I really like it.
Don, it's not. I just want to say one thing. It's not a stretch, because relationship marketing, the content marketing process, you're putting your best foot forward. The consumer is watching you in the absence of any, real feedback about things that have gone wrong or anything like that. They're almost seeing you like a first date, They're almost seeing all of your best qualities, and it is very similar to the process of falling in love. And you'll find that if you do this type of content marketing right, that it's very hard to shake the prospects. They're always asking, when are you coming out with the next stuff, and you don't have enough. So I understand why you say that. How long did it take you to make the videos?
Well, initially a very long time. I really had to cut my teeth there and experimented for weeks, with just a sheet and some cheap hardware store lighting. It took me a while to really get it perfected. Now I can probably shoot a video. People still think it's really easy, but it takes time. If you want to do it right, you need to write a script. You need to have a teleprompter. You need to have some lighting and a camera. But I can probably shoot a 10-minute video now with all, tear up and set down, maybe a couple hours. And then you have to go edit the video out. But I really like my stuff to be as good as it possibly can. I like really good, clear audio. I like nice video. So I go the extra mile. There's people who go out there with just an iPhone and shoot the same thing and post that. And you can do that in 20 minutes.
How long does it take you to prepare the scripts?
Oh, my God, Glenn. Writing is rewriting and writing. I could spend days writing a script. Now, I won't go to that extent for a YouTube video because it's just a simple how-to. For a simple how-to video, I try to keep it very conversational, and with a YouTube video, I want to keep it natural. I don't want to make it look like the whole thing is scripted, because to write the script will take hours, and I'll do that for a sales presentation. But for a simple how-to video, I try to just write down the key points that I want to cover, and then I talk around them in the video, so I can really cut the time down a lot.
Don, it's extremely helpful to have you expose all this, because information is marketing is sold a very sexy thing where you're going to have all these, digital salesmen out there doing the work for you, and money's just going to flow in your bank account, and it's really not that much work. And the truth is, the most successful information marketers I know spend between 8 and 12 hours for every hour of content they produce. And all of the other, gee, how quickly can we do it, and I'm only going to work 4 hours a week to get this whole business put together. I don't know anybody who's really successful who half-asses it. Everybody who's really successful is putting in those 8 to 12 hours to make an hour of content, or, when you get down to the 1 or 2 minute videos, it's probably a lot more. Probably the ratio is probably a lot more. So it's very helpful to hear you say that. Last question I have, and then I'm going to let Yoav speak because I've been out talking him, is there any back end? Once people have purchased the book, do you?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh yes. Good, sizable back end. It doesn't look like it on the front end here, but I have several different ways that you can opt into my list. I actually run paid opt-in ads just for lead generation solely, and I promise them a video or a cheat sheet or a little free training course or whatever, and then I run all those. I use Infusionsoft, so I run all these people through a little sales funnel, which one tries to get people to buy the ebook here. For people who buy the ebook, I offer them an upsell of a thank you letter guide. I don't do that in a fancy on-page upsell, but it's just an email. After you get subscribed, I send you another email and I say, hey, good job on buying the book. You might want this thank you letter guide because after the job interview, you're going to want to follow up with your interviewer, and this thank you letter guide is going to show you how to do it. Right now, you can get it for 50% off. So that's part of the back end. I also offer a resume guide as an upsell. I offer coaching. I have coaching programs that range from $200 up to $2,000.
Good.
And the people that buy those tend to be people who have already bought some of my lower end products and really like me and want more of me, so we offer the higher end coaching products for them. And then I probably have about 3 or 4 other products that I just market to my list, they're all video products, which they're basically a seminar that I did somewhere, maybe at a job club or whatever, where I went in and I talked about how to fine-tune your resume. I've taken that video, I've broken it down into 10 modules, threw it up in a members area, and I sell it for $50. So there's probably about 7 or 8 different pieces that we sell on the back end that are informational, and then 4 or 5 coaching products.
Very substantial business. I understand why because when I first heard this, I wondered how you were managing to afford Google AdWords these days with just an ebook, because I don't see many people who can do that.
It's expensive.
Am I asking too much to, if you don't want to reveal this, it's really okay, but I'd be curious, how does the income break down percentage-wise in terms of the information products versus the coaching?
Way far on the informational side. Probably 80 to 90% of the business is strictly informational. You see, a lot of my customers don't have any money, and I know this because they tell me. And I'll tell you, Glenn, I get some people who come to me and they're like, Don, I have $50. That's all I have. I can either feed my family this week or buy your book. I bought your book, and it was the best thing I ever did because, I got the job I want. Now I can feed my family.
Nice.
I've literally had those kind of stories from people. Other people tell me, they're like, Don, I don't have 2 nickels to rub together. I can't buy your stuff. Can I have it for free? They want it so bad. But a lot of people can't afford it, so that makes it tougher to sell. Anytime we get beyond $100 in a price point with the coaching and stuff, hardly anybody buys that because they literally can't afford it. Though recently, to my surprise, I was blown away. I actually had a guy, very poor man from Africa, buy my $2,000 coaching program. I was blown away.
Wow. People get convinced that this is the answer to their problems.
Don,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
hi, this is Yoav. I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Are you, from your content assets, from your YouTube videos and the blog, do you send the visitors directly to the sales page, or do you get them to opt in first and then how does that work?
Well, the way the blog works, and that's just at jobinterviewtools.com/blog, there's a couple of different ways that I get them to the sales page. One is right on the blog itself in the right sidebar. There's a link that you can click on that will take you over to the sales page. That's one way we get them there. We have an on-screen pop-up where they're interrupted while they're reading an article that basically says, hey, you're doing job interviewing all wrong. Let me show you how to do it. So we capture their email address there. Another thing that works really well for me and that took a lot of effort to embed was in-text ads on my site. So if you're reading one of my articles and it says, in this article, I'm going to teach you how to answer, the right question that's going to get you the job. Well, the word question is a hyperlink, and if you click on that, that's going to take you over to the sales page. So I have those sprinkled out throughout my entire blog, and I use a little program called Ad Rotate that tracks click-through rates on all that. And each one of those links is an affiliate link for myself, so I can track which keywords are producing sales.
Nice.
And surprisingly, we make a lot of sales with in-text ads like that.
Very nice.
So that's how the blog works. We send them directly in the article with an in-text ad, they opt in, or they click a link on the sidebar that takes them over.
And from YouTube, how do they get to your site?
From YouTube, there's a few different ways. I think the first clickable link in the YouTube description encourages them to sign up for my free class. I have a free coaching class. It's got 7 videos on it, and that takes them over to just a special YouTube page. It's just jobinterviewtools.com/YouTube. So that's the first link that they click on, and it just takes them to an opt-in page where I believe there's a special greeting that says, hey, thanks for looking at my YouTube page. I want to share with you this new coaching program. Just go ahead and sign up for it.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Plus, if you keep reading the description, you'll find some other direct product links as well.
Good. And just to get a sense of the amount of traffic you're getting, how many visits are you getting to the sales page?
From YouTube?
From combined, let's not.
Combined? I don't know. I get about 200,000 views to my site, maybe 220,000 views to jobinterviewtools.com in general for a month.
Mm-hmm.
I would estimate that, let's see, if I look in, see, I don't track, I can tell you how many I get with paid traffic, but I don't think I'm really tracking how many.
You don't actually have to tell me. I just wondered if there's enough traffic to test, and there probably
is. Yeah, like I said, we get 200,000 views a month just to the site alone, and easily a third of that is hitting the homepage.
Excellent.
Easily.
Good. Okay, so while you were speaking with Glenn, I wrote a couple of notes, but Glenn, would you like to go first? I have a couple of ideas.
You're welcome to go first. One last question I just want to understand, because converting people after an opt-in who've been looking at your content already is a whole different story than going direct to the page. And when you're buying the traffic in AdWords, is it going direct to this page, or it's mostly going through the opt-ins first?
I'll tell you this, Glenn. I use AdWords and I use the display network. I used to have all of my display traffic going directly to the sales page. But over the last year, I've found that the conversions have really dropped off. They weren't, the display network just stopped converting for me. I couldn't make money on it with a direct sales page. But I could with the with AdWords, with search. Yes, thank you. I could make money with search directly, but I could not make money anymore with display. So I didn't want to give up display because it's cheap traffic. So I sent all of my display traffic to an opt-in form, which I get. I'll get a 10 to 12% opt-in rate on cold traffic, which isn't too bad, I don't think. So what I do is I get the opt-in, I get 12% opt-in rate, and I offer them a free class or a free something, and then after they opt in, I hit them with the book offer again. Well, actually, I've never seen the book offer, so I'm like, hey, your free video is going to be sent to you in just a minute. While you're here, I want to show you something that some job seekers have been doing wrong and how you can avoid it. And then I give them the video sales letter pitch. So
are you retargeting the people who don't opt in back to the sales page?
No. If they don't opt in, they just go away. I haven't done anything with that.
Oh, that'll be free money for you if you retarget them back to the sales page. The one thing it sounds like you might want to consider, it sounds like this is working, so maybe we can give up the other direct sales page strategy from the display network. But what happens is that as the display network campaigns age, Google typically starts to get a little more aggressive in how fuzzy their logic is in terms of what they consider to be relevant. And so sometimes you have to take more significant control over the parameters you allow in the display network, and that can involve adding another keyword to the targeting so that the theme is more defined for the campaign. It could involve more aggressively, more regularly going through the actual sites that Google is spidering out your advertisements on and doing a lot more negatives with the sites and prohibiting them from working.
I do. I exclude those sites, yes.
Okay. So that's a lesser point. I just thought it was an easy place to pick up something I bet.
Just to go back on one thing you said, after I send people to an opt-in page from the paid traffic, you said to retarget them back to the sales page if they don't opt in. Are you just referring to like when they go to close the page, one of those little pop-ups that says, wait, don't leave?
No. In Google AdWords, there's an opportunity to put a pixel on people's computers. Google calls this building an audience.
Yes, I do retarget. I have a retargeting campaign that runs as well. So if you land on my site, you pick up the tracking cookie, and I'll follow you around with more ads. That doesn't convert very well. Now I don't put a lot of money. Are you
trying to send them back to the opt-in page, or are you trying to send them to
sales page? Well, you know what? I take that back. I used to send them with the retargeting campaign. I used to send them to the sales page, but that really turned out to be a wash sales-wise. It ended up costing me like $50 or $60 a conversion, so that wasn't worth it. So I basically retarget them back to the opt-in page, and I probably pull maybe a 5% opt-in rate.
Yeah. So what that tells me is that the display network has gone a little bit haywire. They're being too aggressive. So you're not getting the right people to the page. That's what that tells me. Anyway, Yoav, I'm so sorry. I will shut up, and it's your turn.
Finally. Joking.
You can slap me later.
Okay, so just a few things I wrote down. Actually, more than a few. So you said somewhere that you don't have an on-page upsell letter. You use an email to do the upsell. Is there a particular reason for that?
Well, I used to. With Infusionsoft, they don't make it very elegant. I think they've made it better. What I used to have was just a little checkbox on the Infusionsoft order page. So once you got there and it shows, here's complete interview answer guide, $47.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little checkbox there. Would you like to add, for 20 more bucks, a thank you letter guide?
Right,
Check it or
cart kind of upsell.
Right.
Okay.
So I did that for a while, and honestly, I think it might have spooked people.
It might.
And scared them away from buying anything at all, because I just told them, hey, $50 is all you need to get everything that's going to help you get hired, and now you're giving me a $20 upsell here for something else.
Right.
Some people did take the offer, other people didn't take the offer, but it did not. It didn't really improve sales, and in some cases, I think it spooked people, and I made less. So that's why I offer it after they buy the book. They're already $50 into it. They made the purchase. They'll get an email from me that says, hey, you can get this book. I also have a members area that I use Wishlist for that offers them to buy the extra book for $20.
So my first piece of advice would be to set up, no matter how technically difficult it is, to set up a postcard upsell where after they add their credit card, after they punch in the credit card details and buy the product, add a postcard upsell, a one-click upsell. That is, how did you say it, Glenn? Free money? It's free money. If you tell them, okay, and what I'd do at the first offer I'd test is getting them to buy the more expensive product. Let's say they bought the $47 product. Then you can tell them, listen, if you decide right now, you can get the $97 product, but you can get it for a discount of $10, $15. So they can actually get the same high-level product for less. Now, I used to do that in my companies, and that works extremely well, to the point where we converted about 50%.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But and I tested like crazy. I tested emails, I tested using video in the upsell, I tested in-cart upsells and post-cart upsell, and the post-cart upsell where you sell the high-end product, the platinum product, with a discount converts extremely well because it's more of the same. You're giving them more, and then you're giving them a discount on. Imagine this: they were selecting which product to buy. They looked at all the different options, and they decided to purchase the $67 one instead of the $97 one because of money, right? They had a money issue, and then you give them a chance, a one-time chance, like when only on this page. Once they close the page, they won't get the chance again to get the product they wanted, but for less. So that works really well.
Well,
Okay.
can I add a couple of things? I agree with you 100%. So done strategically, if you're concerned that you're going to spook them because you already told them they have everything that they need, and so you feel like it conflicts to then say, but you really need this. The solution to that is either to say, here's how you can get it done faster, or here's how you can get it done more effectively. So you address that objection right away. You don't hide from it. Address the objection and say, hey, listen, you made a really smart decision to purchase the job interviews book, and it really does have everything that you need to get a fabulous job and, ace your interview and get over all these, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you'd like to do it faster or more effectively, then you should consider this, and here's why.
Okay.
And that should probably overcome the spooking issue. The other thing is that if technically you're having trouble, I use Infusion also, and there's a provider called Fix Your Funnel, and they make integrations for Infusion, and that's how I do the one-click upsell. He manages the whole software part, and you just kind of enter the URLs, and he gives you a button, and it works. So I don't know why Infusion does it like that. You'd think that for as much as they charge, they would.
I think they might have fixed that. They recently did a webinar back in January, February, where they showed you, how to do it a better way in the campaign builder. So I'm not sure if they've actually fixed it or not. I haven't gone through that yet, but it is possible to do it. It really is, without even a third party.
Okay, but I do agree with Yoav that if you had these three options and someone chose a lower one because they didn't think they could afford it, and then they get the opportunity to get the higher one at a discount afterwards, I think there will be money on the table for you with that.
Well, we want to pick that up.
Yes,
sure,
you do.
for sure. And then you need to have a second and third upsell, like straight after the first one, where you sell your career, I forget the products, but there was a resume guide, right?
Right.
And then another, some people think it's obnoxious to have too many upsells.
I agree.
But I found that when I had two upsells beyond the first, it usually adds money to the bottom line. So having 5 or 6 upsells is a problem, and you don't get a lot more sales from that. But if you have a 3-step upsell, and I think you have enough products to implement that, you can get a substantial increase. Overall, I found upsells to increase the bottom line by 15% if you implement them this way. So well worth the effort.
I agree. What I found in my testing is that the complaint, and different markets behave differently, but I found the complaints start after the second upsell. I can present people with 2 well-thought-through upsells. And my upsells tend to be relatively short, so I'm not keeping people for a long time. If I present them with 2 well-thought-through upsells, then I don't get any complaints. When I go to the third, I start to get complaints. And in a business where you're looking to sell high-end coaching at the end, it might be that we don't absolutely maximize the transaction value in the first transaction because we are trying to preserve the value for later. That said, if 90% of your income is coming from info products, these are propositions you should be testing. These are definitely propositions you should be testing because there probably is a lot more in that first transaction that's available.
Okay, I agree. I totally agree.
So I've got a bunch more, so let's move on.
Keep going.
Okay, so
I'll move the screen so it doesn't get boring.
Right.
Actually, I'm going to do something else in the background while you do that. Go ahead.
Okay, so that's the surest way to get money, the upsells. But as you were speaking, you were talking about how, and it made sense, I was thinking about this even before you said it, that your audience doesn't have money. They're unemployed. And $50 or $97, it's a lot of money for someone who hasn't been employed for a long time. So I was thinking that you might want to test a different kind of offer, and it might be crazy, but you tell me. I'll tell you what it is, and you tell me if I'm crazy. Maybe you should offer them, because you're so in place of the 120 days money-back guarantee, offer them a program where they pay $1, just $1 right away, and then the rest in 60 days, and that will actually come out of their paycheck. So you're so certain that they're going to get a job that you'll be giving them the product for virtually $1, and then the rest of the money will come out of the paycheck. And if they call you within those 60 days and tell you, listen, I've been to a job interview and I didn't get it, then you refund their $1 and they never get charged with the second payment.
I really like that idea. I've considered offering the program for $1, and then at the end of 30 days, I'll bill you the other 46. But I really like your reasoning behind that, and tell them that, you know, it's not going to cost them anything because the money's going to come from their paycheck after they get a job. I really like that twist at the end.
Right, because you're so confident. That ties together the guarantee and the promise, right? You're so confident of the product that you're risking everything. You're basically giving away the product, and you'll only get their money if they get a job. That's the ultimate kind of a guarantee you can have for this product.
I really like that. I think that would probably do the best as something on the back end, that after I try to get them to buy the guide through an upsell sequence or an email autoresponder sequence, so I can't get them to buy the guide at full price, then maybe a couple of weeks into the sequence we offer it to them for $1 and see if we can't get them to bite on that.
Right, test that. That's a good way to test this idea, right? You've got a follow-up sequence, but if it performs well, you can move it to the front and see how you do there. Because if you double your conversion rate or increase it by 30% or whatever, it's a big increase, then you'll get significantly more customers. And significantly more customers means a lot more money. So testing it on the back end is a great idea, but really move it to the front end if you see you get good results with this offer.
I like it.
Don, you will get more refunds when you do that, and you'll have more customer service difficulties, but make sure you evaluate it by, do the math overall. Don't just say, well, I have more customer service problems, because the conversion should far outpace the customer service.
They should.
Okay, so those are my two major ideas.
I like that.
Then if you use that, if you choose to use that in the offer, then move the offer into the headline. Right, you want to use that as the headline. Right now you have a headline that says, Glenn, could you go back to the how to answer any interview question and win the job offer you deserve? And if you use the offer and say pay $1 now and the rest in 60 days after you get the job, so you don't have to pay now when you're cash strapped, and that's just an idea, but you can use that as the headline, and that will make the biggest impact on your sales. So don't.
Sometimes when you have an exceptionally good offer, you can come out with it right away. Sometimes you don't have to court them until the end, and that might work here because I didn't realize this was you. I wouldn't have clicked on it, but they're clicking expecting to see an easy to follow answer guide, so they know there's probably a guide for sale. So it might be that you can do that, and they'll see that it's only $1. You'll get some people that have impulse sales, and you get more people who go through the site because the offer is so easy. So that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely worth testing. Okay, so this was the biggest two. Now, Glenn, may I ask you to scroll down a bit? I'll tell you when to stop. Scroll down a bit more, please. Stop. Okay. A bit up to the previous subhead. That's it. How hard is it to land? I want to look at the how hard is it to land a good job. It's the next subheadline. Right.
Okay.
So most of this is just technical copywriting stuff, but I found a lot of subheadlines that didn't have a strong intrigue factor to them. You're asking how hard is it to land a good paying job in today's tough economy? And my answer was very, right? It's a question, so right. My answer was yes. Very. And I didn't particularly want to read the text below it because I figured that you're going to tell me how hard it is to get a job. So I think I already know the answer, therefore I skipped ahead. But when I actually forced myself to read the text, especially with the bullets in the end where you talk about the different problems that someone might have when they're going into a job interview, that was interesting. So,
which of these job-killing emotions do you experience in an interview?
Right.
Question mark. Yeah.
That would be a lot better, and will get people to actually read the copy and convert better. And I'd go through every one of the subheads and try to introduce more intrigue into them. The first one was very good. Glenn, can you scroll up, please? To the first subhead.
You're seeing a delay after I see it.
Right. Can you correctly answer tough interview questions like these? Brilliant. Right? I don't know what the questions are. I really don't know if I can answer them. I read this when I actually started reading the questions when I saw the subhead. So I'd improve the subheads. Another thing, I just skimmed through the copy, but you've got a lot of nice testimonials on the right. But other than that, I didn't see a lot of proof in your copy. And a question I have is, let's say I get, and this is a real question, let's say I buy your product. How does my chance improve? By how much? So can you tell? Do you have stats on that?
That's pretty tough to get stats on something like that.
Yoav, what it does have is 2,000 reviews.
Where? I missed that.
Yeah, he's got 2,000 reviews right here.
Where does it say that? Right, 2,000 reviews. So that's way down. That's way down.
Yeah, I was actually even thinking about saying something at the very top underneath the headline that says 2,167 happy job seekers can't be wrong.
Right.
Are these Amazon reviews, or are these just these reviews that you solicited yourself?
Actually, I don't solicit reviews. These are reviews that people went out of their way to send me. They're like, Don, I bought your book. And then after they did that, and all these people that you're looking at right now, I said, thank you so much. That's wonderful. Hey, will you do me a favor? Will you call into my recorded number and leave me an audio testimonial? And that has really been very powerful, but getting an audio testimonial is incredibly difficult. It took me years to get all these audios. And then I actually got a couple of videos from some people too.
So those are unsolicited reviews. They willingly wrote to you to tell you how good the product was. So I moved that right up under the headline. It's a test, of course, but
yeah, I might even take I might even take a couple of the best ones and post the audio right there, or to the side of it. Yoav and I evaluate how well the site is organized to pull people in and convince them with like the 5-second scan test. And what we're looking at here is problem, promise, and proof. Is it really clear what problem this site is intended to solve? And you get an A++ on that. You screened them. They're looking for the perfect job interview answers. The site's name is terrific. Job interview tool. Best answers to the most asked questions. So I know exactly why I'm here. And then what's the strongest promise you can make without lying? So how to answer any interview question and win the job offer you deserve. You might even make that a little bit stronger by saying how to answer every interview question and win the job offer you deserve. It might be just a speck stronger. So you do have a very strong promise. Is it a unique promise? We'd have to look at the competition and see if they're offering the same thing. Mm-hmm. But it is a strong premise. But then there's not really any proof above the fold. So probably the momentum is strong enough that I'm going to watch the video or scroll down, but it might be nice to, here, like if I took this picture of you, right, and I moved it to the top, kind of moved it to the top.
Glenn?
And now Don is telling me this, and then right underneath it, we can put a little more credentials. It's nice that they can email you that you're a personal coach, but Don has coached over 2,000 happy. Don has personally and with his tools coached over 2,000 happy job seekers. Click here for unsolicited testimonials and have that pop up if they want to look at that. Don't bring them to another page. Just have it pop up and they can close that window when they're done. Yeah, and then on the right-hand side, I might have a couple of the best testimonials. So you're framing the whole above the fold area with I have jokingly called this the 3 W's. I say that people are extremely skeptical when they come to the site and they're asking, who the F are you, what the F can you do for me, and why the F should I believe you? Right? Yeah. So who the F are you? Well, I am Don, blah, 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 and this is what I've done. And what the F can you do for me? Well, I can tell you how to answer every interview question to win the job offer I deserve. Could I make that any stronger? To win job offer of my dreams.
We need to do some research on that because we can improve that.
Yeah, we can improve that for sure. And then why the F should I believe you? Well, these 2,167 happy job seekers can't be wrong.
Unsolicited reviewers. That's a big selling point. You've got most people that have that amount of reviews. They usually have a system in place to solicit reviews, but these are unsolicited. So I'd use that as a proof point. And you've probably sold hundreds of thousands of copies, maybe tens of thousands of copies. So maybe use that as a proof point. Yeah.
You've got just a little bit of a case of proof hiding disease. I think you're being, you come across as having a tremendous amount of integrity, and I find and you're very fastidious in how much work you put into this, and I think you genuinely want to help people. I find a lot of professionals that have those characteristics tend to hide their proof further down the page or further into the website, but because the customers are asking who the F are you, it really needs to be front and center up top. So that's an idea there. Yoav, go on, I'm sorry.
That's a good idea, and I probably would agree with you a little bit on that. I am a little modest in sharing the proof and all the reviews. I don't like to shove that down people's throats. Me personally, I don't like it either. Like if I walk into a car dealership to buy a new car, I don't want them jamming all their happy customers in my face. before I even look at the car. I want to see the product first and wait till I come to make a decision about something, and then maybe your customer reviews will help influence my decision. I've never really liked to lead with that, but I'm not like everybody else out there. Other people just buy things strictly on reviews. Oh, it's got reviews, great, I'll take it.
I mean, you know, Don, it's a testable proposition, but you've got to ask, why does Amazon put the reviews front and center? That's like the first thing you see after the promise. You kind of have to ask, that these people have billions of visitors over the course of a year, and they do all kinds of testing, and like this is what they've concluded. So I think I feel the same way. You know, I'm a psychologist by training, and I was always taught to be understated, and if people didn't want to come for another session, you kind of let them not come for another session. But there's nobody behind you saying, hey, this guy is great. And they're one click away from going someplace else, especially from search.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've in 98% of the tests that I've seen proof above the fold makes a difference.
Measurable increase.
At worst, it doesn't harm it. At worst, it doesn't harm it. But
and let me try to frame it.
Wrong.
Let me try to frame it in another way. You are absolutely sure that your advice is helpful, right? You know that if they'll use your system, they stand a good chance of getting a job, right?
100%.
So you should do your utmost best to prevent them to going to some, you know, hack that's regurgitating advice and really selling them bad advice. And the amount of proof you have is indicative of how good your product is. And you should do your best to get them to get your product because you're actually helping them. That's my take on that.
Okay, I like that.
Cool. Okay. The other thing, and I don't know if our podcast audience has heard about this technique, but if this is it's a software tool called Espionage. You don't have to do this. What this really does is it just monitors AdWords and Bing for you to see who's winning the game, who's paying for ads above the fold most consistently. And so here we can see that it looks like, I don't know if this is the best keyword for you, Don, maybe there's a better keyword that would define your job searcher, but
Job interview questions is a stronger question. Job interview guide you would think would be good, but it's actually a fairly weak.
Okay, let's do that then. So job interview
Questions.
guide, yeah, job interview question. Job interview guide is probably something that's a little earlier in the search continuum, meaning that they haven't really made up their mind of exactly what they're looking for yet, but questions is more specific. What I would suggest is that perhaps job interview guide might be a better opt-in keyword, and job interview questions could be a sales keyword, but you might have already done that testing.
I think when people search for job interview questions, they're looking for free advice. When they search for job interview guide, they're looking for a book. It's not a very heavily searched keyword. It does tend to convert a little better because people are looking for a guide, and you know what? I have a guide. If they're searching for questions, they're looking for free stuff, and I have to sway them over to buy my guide.
So which is a better keyword for you then?
Oh, by far, the job interview questions. Definitely.
So,
Because
I might get a better conversion rate. I'll get a better conversion rate with job interview guide, but there's not enough people searching it, so the sales for job interview guide are very low, but much higher for job interview questions.
okay.
Because there's just more people searching for that keyword.
Okay, well I only see, what this shows us is who is able to advertise above the fold consistently, and it seems like there's only one vendor, this Madame Noir, that's able to do that. And so
Never heard of her.
See if we can figure out why. This is one of those sites where she's sucking people into the site and hoping that they click an ad.
That's a clickbait site. That's why she's got the money to do it.
Yep. Yep, exactly. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to look on Amazon instead. Let's go for job interview questions.
Now you're talking.
Have you ever done this?
Oh, yes. I have my book up here in hardback on Amazon.
Have you ever looked at the most highly reviewed relevant books and look at what the reviewers were saying for language that you might use?
A lot of it tends to be Peggy McGee, and she writes a lot of crap and throws it up there. And her whole Amazon back end is lead generation. That's all it is.
But have you? The reason I was, I mean, I think it's great that you know what her business model and you've gone through this. But what the purpose I was looking at this for was to see, since it is one of the more highly ranked Amazon books and it's got 132 reviews, I'm just wondering if you've ever read through these reviews.
I have.
Okay.
They're wonderful. They're like, hey, this free book got me the job. There's a lot. She has a lot of good reviews, and they love her insight.
Have you found any language in here that could be useful in constructing a more powerful headline or subheadline?
No, I haven't.
Glenn, go back. I browsed through her reviews. She doesn't have a lot of upvotes, so it's not really useful. But go to 60 Seconds You're Hired. It's a different book on Amazon. I'm doing stuff in the background while you guys are speaking.
Okay. Okay. You want to see those reviews?
Yeah. It's kind of a lag, but we'll get there.
Okay.
We're not seeing it yet.
You're not seeing it?
Not the reviews. No, there's a lag. I've got like a 5-second lag. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so the reviews you want to look for are reviews where a lot of people voted the review is helpful, because that means 28 is a bit low, but what's the best I could find in 2 minutes. But if it's got a lot of people voting the review up, it means that there's language in the review that speaks to people.
Okay.
And then you might find... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't know that. I'm just noting your point. It's a really good point there.
And
Don, the reason is, if you think about, I'm sorry, Yoav, just give me 2 seconds. The reason that is a good metric is that the question these people are really asking is, was it helpful in making a buying decision? People are on Amazon to consider buying books. So if they're saying, yes, this review was helpful, that means it was helpful to me in making a yes or no buying decision.
Right.
That's why this language can be so powerful when you find something with a lot of upvotes.
okay, so now let's look at the specific review. This one says, if you look at the second sentence, she looked into it and voila, my $7 book made me another $2,500 in the same week I got it. So this is a very strong benefit, and usually when you get reviews that people upvote, if you go through them and read them, you can, and even copy them to Word, to a Word document, you can highlight the strong benefits. And if you go through all the highly reviewed books on Amazon in your niche and do the same, you'll get a lot of A, benefits, and B, language that's very effective in selling books. That has been proven to be effective.
And since you're selling a book, this is one of the best places you can research that.
So for example, if you add the benefit of not only getting the job, but maximizing the pay, right? You get a better chance if you buy. I don't know if it's a real benefit of your program, but if it is, then this review shows that it's effective in selling books on job interviews.
Yes. Very effective.
And you very small note of caution about whether Google will allow that type of testimonial or claim. So kind of do that on your own risk. You might have to tone it down just a little bit.
They don't seem to hit my site with anything. They seem to like me. I talk to Google AdWords specialists who call me up every month, and we chat, and they like my site. Nobody seems to be against it for the language that I use.
Cool.
By the way, for all the other listeners, we've got, if you sign up for the goodies on the Customer Machine website, you get a very explicit, very elaborate explanation of how to mine for benefits and copy with Google, with Amazon reviews. I'm sorry. So that's one of the lectures we provide for free if you just sign up for our goodies package.
At thecustomermachine.com. Nice plug, Yoav.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to the site. Okay. So, I'm going to answer any interview question and win the job you offer you deserve. I mean, we can't make it too much stronger without Google getting upset is the issue. I mean, I'm tempted to say, to add to the whole thing and maximize your salary.
Right, have a deck of benefits.
Yes, speed up. You have a couple of bullets. I'm going to speed up the process. Get a job sooner. Are there any, Don? Are there any other benefits that people are looking for?
Some of the key issues. Some of the key issues people are looking for are to be less nervous because they haven't interviewed for a long time. Job interviews terrify them, and they want to know how they can be more calm and relaxed in the interview, because no one's going to hire you if you're a train wreck in there and you're trembling the whole time. So that's a real key issue that I have, or that people are searching for.
So have you tested things like how to calmly answer any interview question and win the job offer you deserve?
I'll tell you, Glenn. Like I said, I've been running this site for 7 or 8 years. I've tested a variety of headlines and things like that, and every headline I tested, I didn't get any measurable results. There was like just no difference. It didn't matter. For the years, I got really bored with testing headlines because everything I did didn't make a difference. It just didn't matter. I mean, one of the things I tested was just the sales page versus just a video. And my sales page beat out just a video. So I tried a sales page combo with video like you see now versus, just a video. And, and again, just the video tanks where with all the content supports it. That's about the most I've been able to measure results. It's clear that this page performs so much better, but just changing a headline for me has it's 0.01%, if any difference at all.
Okay, so maybe we need to go with more of the problem and proof above the fold as the major test that we're doing. The reason that just a video is probably not working is that in your advertising you're screening for readers, people that are going to buy a guide or people that want to read a guide. So you've actually got readers coming to the page, you've got readers going through your blog and then coming to the page. So you have a reading audience, and a reading audience is better because readers are better buyers.
I suppose. Now, I'll tell you this. There's another guy, and you had his site up. You might even know him, the Interview Success Formula, Alan Carneal. I think he's in the Perry Marshall Roundtable. You probably met him.
Probably.
Anyway, he runs that site, and he just has the video. That's it. If you click on, and he sends his traffic directly to that video page, and it's just a VSL. He's been doing this for a few years now. For him, it works. It must work because he keeps doing it.
But what does his ad say, though?
Very similar.
It's not. It's not, because he's not screening out video. He's not screening for readers. You're saying with an easy-to-follow answer guide, that's clearly a book. It's not really clear what form this is going to be in, so it's different. If you screen for people that are looking for a book, then you need to present all the text in.
I'll tell you, Glenn, that ad that you're looking at there, that's an old ad, and I don't even think I run that ad anymore. I'm serious.
Well, sometimes this is not accurate. Okay. Okay, well, I'm not going to argue with your data.
From a year ago.
Okay, so we'll focus more on the problem and proof above this.
I mean, no. I mean, you offer a lot of insight into the data. I mean, I really didn't even realize when you pointed out there that I'm scanning for a reading audience and he's not. That concept never even came to my mind that my ads might be attracting a reading audience versus something else. So that's a very good point. I never crossed my mind.
What does your best performing ad say?
I'd have to look. Do you have a second?
Yeah. The point I wanted to make. Well, Yoav, you have to tell me how much time we do have because we're a little.
We don't have a lot of time. Maybe.
Okay. So the quick point I wanted to make was that congruity of conversation, continuance of conversation is one of the biggest conversion factors around. So a lot of people do one thing to get people to the site and they set up this whole mindset and then they break the mindset on the landing page. I don't see you doing that in the ad that I did see, but what you want to do is evaluate, if you evaluate your best performing ads and then look at what you're saying above the fold on the landing page and ask yourself, am I delivering exactly the mindset that I set up from the ad right away? And
I'll tell you this right now. I'll tell you, one of my best performing ads right now gets a 1% click-through rate. The heading is number one, #1, behavioral questions. Answer any behavioral question, perfect answers in 3 easy steps.
Okay. So we might get a little bit of a bump if we echoed that back above the headline. How to answer any behavioral interview question in 3 easy steps and win the job offer you deserve. Because now I'm matching exactly the expectations that you got me to the page with.
Yes. I have tried similar things like that in the past where I've matched the exact headline that was in the ad copy and put it on the page. Again, the results were flat.
What is the conversion rate here?
It varies, Glenn. It varies because it depends where that traffic's coming from. If we're talking cold traffic, straight from Google, we're probably at a 0.5 to 0.7% conversion rate on cold traffic. If we're talking traffic from YouTube, where you're already warmed up, and you've already met me for free and you like my videos, that conversion rate is going to be a little bit higher. It might be closer to 2%. Or the same thing with email. When I email on the back end, my conversion rate will be up to 7% because I've already taught you some stuff. You've been around me for a while. You like me.
Yeah.
the conversion rate goes up. So cold traffic is obviously the worst, but cold traffic is easy and cheap to get, and that's why I keep throwing money at it, because it does perform, but at a lower conversion point.
So it may be, I do think the problem promise proof above the fold thing is worth testing, and we don't have to mess with the headline too much.
I agree.
I do think, but it may be that the real opportunity here is to work on the back ends and the the upsell funnels and the things like that we talked about. If I cut you off again, I'm sorry. I get excited about these kind of things.
No, I'm pretty much done. We can spend 5 hours working on this, but if just to sum it up, and for sure we can spend more time working on the blog and the YouTube channel to optimize the conversion and the amount of people you get to sign up to your newsletter. But if we focus for a second on the sales letter, then upsells, we've spoken extensively about that, testing the different offer with the $1 in the beginning, and then after they get the job, they pay the rest after 60 days, and then adding proof above the fold and adding more benefits above the fold, and you can go to Amazon or your experience to find those benefits, and we've briefly discussed that. And these are the big things. I think there's a lot to do.
And I'll tell you, with the things that you mentioned, those are all relatively simple things to do. I don't need to re-engineer my site or rewrite anything. It's just adding a little bit of text here and there, and within an hour or two, I can set up a split test to start testing that. So I really appreciate those suggestions in the sense that they're simple and easy to do, and I could probably implement one of them today and start seeing if that makes a difference. So I really appreciate those. Thank you.
Don, would you be willing to come back in a couple of months and let us know what happened?
Well, of course.
Cool.
It's no fun if you can't measure results. And it's like, you can give me all the advice in the world. If I don't do anything with it, then it ends up being a waste of everybody's time. And I'm very grateful for your time that you spent with me here this morning. And I'm going to take everything that you said to heart, and I'm going to put it into production and actually test it and see if those things made a difference.
Well, thanks, Don. We really appreciate your willingness to be exposed like this, and you're clearly a guy on a mission with a solid product to do. And if I knew someone who needed some job interview coaching, I would send them to Job Interview Tools in a heartbeat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Yoav, should we wrap it up for today?
Yes. We're already.
Do you want to sing the Customer Machine song?
No, I think we're done. Thank you, Don.
I want you to sing the Customer Machine song.
That won't happen. Maybe on the when we get to the 100th episode, I'll consider it, but not now.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Good.
I'm going to hold you to that.
You know what? If you do a tattoo of the Customer Machine logo, I'll sing the song.
When we make the first million, then I'm open to it.
Okay.
Okay, everybody. This is Dr. Glenn Livingston, and I'm here with Yoav Ezer, and our guest today was Don. I can't pronounce your last name again.
Georgievich.
Don Georgievich from JobInterviewTools.com, and it's been nice having you. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for your time and attention. For more information about the products and services we offer to help dramatically grow your business, please visit thecustomermachine.com. On behalf of Glenn and Yoav, thanks for listening.